And we're now joined by CBS Sports NBA analyst Bill Ryder and John Gonzalez as we finally have the picture, the playoff picture, and in particular in the Wild Western Conference all put together now. And it literally came down to that final game of the year, even into overtime for things to sort out, including now we know that the Lakers now have a series against Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves in the 3rd versus 6th matchup. But Bill, this now means it's Luka and LeBron's first playoffs together. What are you expecting out of this series?
I'm expecting an incredible series. Both these teams, and John and I have discussed this so much on the podcast, both these teams and many of the other teams in the Western Conference are good enough to make a run all the way to the conference finals. I think this is a 6 or 7 game series. Timberwolves are a top 10 offensive defense. We know how great Anthony Edwards is, especially in crunch time. But you noted the Lakers have that double whammy of star power. I'm not sure yet which way I'm leaning on a pick. I just know that whoever can get the best of the other team, I like their path forward.
I'm excited for this series. It's going to be super entertaining. I mean, as Bill mentioned, you've got Anthony Edwards and Luka and LeBron. I think when we talked about this on the podcast as well, it's going to be a really interesting series stylistically because these are very differently constructed teams. The Lakers, as we've noted many times, have one center in Jackson Hayes, and he's not a traditional center. They've basically decided to go with Rui and LeBron in the front court, and they are big guys for their positions, but not traditional centers. And then they're going to throw a lot of Dorian Finney-Smith and Jared Vanderbilt out there, whereas the Wolves have size everywhere, actual traditional size in Rudy Gobert and in Nas and Julius Randle. And Edwards famously had said back when we had that debate about who's more athletic between NBA players and NFL players, and Edwards was like, hey, I'm big as hell too, so you got size all over the place for the Wolves, so that should be super fun in addition to, again, a meeting of the stars between Luka, LeBron, and Ant.
Yeah, no shortage of star power in that one right there. But meanwhile, guys, let's be honest, no team has been better, especially if we're looking at the records this season than OKC. John, I want to get your outlook on the Thunder as the top seed in the West this time around.
Yeah, I mean, Bill knows I've been on the Thunder for 2 years now. Eventually, I think that they're going to reward my faith in them. I mean, they've been so good, right? They have the best defense in the NBA by a considerable margin. They have the best net rating, Kiana, not just this season, but ever. They have the best point differential in NBA history. They've got the presumptive MVP in SGA. They're 1-8 deep. You're going to tighten that rotation a little bit, but they're really good. And look, Boston, they have a chance coming out of the East. The Cavs have a chance coming out of the East, but there hasn't been a repeat champion in the NBA since the Warriors did it in 2017, 2018. It's going to be awfully difficult for Oklahoma City to get out of the West. The West is absolutely loaded, but if they do, I like their chances.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're the best team in the NBA. They were the best team in the Western Conference by record last year, albeit a three-way tiebreaker. They're obviously by far the best team in the Western Conference this year. I'll say this. There's a really potential brutal path for them. If the Warriors lose to Memphis in that play-in game on Tuesday and then win what would be the 8 seed game against the Kings or the Mavs, all of a sudden the Thunder have to go through the Warriors and then the winners of a resurgent Clippers team or the Denver Nuggets, who we know have some turmoil, but there's Nikola Jokic in the mix there. And so this has been a pretty interesting schism here on CBS Sports HQ. A lot of the former players and coaches, Avery Johnson, Rip Hamilton, do not think the Thunder are ready yet to push through. Most of the writers and the reporters, the journalists, think that they will. And it's, the odds, it's a coin flip. It's a really interesting test for a Thunder team. John's right. They are going to almost certainly win titles. They are built for the future. Is the moment now? They've got a really tough road, and I'm excited to see what they can do with all these expectations.
Yeah, that's the 5th most wins in NBA history this season. But meanwhile, you're saying that our analysts are at odds right now. Is this a championship team now? Are they not? I mean, it's yet to be seen, but nonetheless, impressive stuff that they have been doing. And like John mentioned, over the last couple of years. But guys, I know the hottest buzz obviously is coming from the West, but out East, the Celtics begin their quest for back-to-back titles. But when I look at this year compared to last year, maybe home court advantage at some point might not be in their favor. But what is most notable to me is they're in better condition this year than last. Kristaps Porzingis healthy. Jaylen Brown should be ready for Game 1. They have an improved bench. But John, give me your take on the season, their chances at a potential repeat.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's either going to be them or the Cavs coming out of the Eastern Conference. You can put everybody else off to the side. There was a chunk of the season, Kiana, where they went through a shooting slump, and it was a significant chunk of the season. It was more than 20 games. But now all of a sudden they're hot at the right time. All of them are playing well. As you noted, they're all healthy. 1 through 8 can all shoot. 1 through 7 on that team can shoot and defend. So I think that they have a really good shot to get out of the Eastern Conference. Now, as I noted, repeating is something else. I mean, I think I've been a proponent, an advocate for the Cavaliers all season long. I think that they're going to meet in the conference finals. If the Celtics get out of the East, it wouldn't surprise me at all. They're probably going to be the favorites. But then when you get to the Western Conference, whoever comes out of the Western Conference, what a gauntlet that is. That is going to be a supreme test for the Celtics. Celtics had it, now I'm not going to say easy last season, but it was a much easier road than they're going to have this season because they're going to have to get past the Cavs and then they're going to have to get past whatever juggernaut comes out of the Western Conference.
Yeah, I mean, counterpoint though, those juggernauts might beat the hell out of each other. I think the Celtics are, as much as one can in the NBA, sitting on an easy streak. Because John's right. There's only one team in the Eastern Conference that can beat Boston. That team is Cleveland. They'll play in the conference finals if, as expected, they both advance. And I do think we sometimes forget, because these are human beings. Guys that win championships, for whatever reason, the psychology of it, Pat Riley called the disease of more. They take their foot off the gas a little bit. They go into second gear. This has been a Celtics team that has been coasting, and they're still the second best team, in albeit a very, very weak East. I think they're the best team in the NBA. We talked last year nonstop about whether they could break through. They obviously did. I love Boston's chances, and as John noted, barring some catastrophic injury or stunning surprise, it is Boston against Cleveland in the conference finals, and that's a much easier path for Boston than any of the teams in the Western Conference.
Okay, well, let's continue on that train because, Bill, you said that they have the makings to be, if they are not already, the best team in the NBA. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty. We're 2 weeks into the month of April, less than a week until the playoffs start. So who do you think, Bill, will be the last team standing come June? Give me your finals picks.
I love way too early predictions. I do this to people on the radio all the time. So here's what I'm doing. So I'm going, well, let me start with who's the runner-up's going to be. And this is for you, John. This is to insult your Houston Rockets. I think I'm going to go on a limb here. No chalk for me. The Warriors beat Memphis in the play-in game. They play a Rockets team that have a bright future, but that future is not now. They beat the Lakers in the second round. They're off and running. Warriors go to the NBA Finals, and then they get absolutely decimated by a Boston Celtics team that, yeah, battled it out against the Cleveland Cavaliers. But by that point in the season, we get to June, are too good, are clicking on all cylinders, do not have that shooting slump we saw several months ago. Boston Celtics, the first repeat NBA champion in a long time.
Wow, Bill, having the C's repeating, but I think what was even more surprising in what you just explained to us was the Warriors' path to getting to the finals. That's overlooking at an OKC team we've been talking about. We haven't touched too much yet on Houston, also looking at the Lakers in Denver. It's interesting. I'm circling this right now because I want to make sure we're talking about this once June rolls around. But now, John, I want to hear your side of things.
Yeah, I mean, the Warriors would be thrilled with that, right? Especially after they slip into the play-in today and all of a sudden Jimmy Butler is hobbling around. They'd be thrilled with that. I'm going to agree with Bill in part. I think that the Celtics, as much as, the Philadelphian in me doesn't want to see them succeed, the professional in me notes that they are a really good basketball team. I have advocated on behalf of the Cavs all season long. I think that there's a good chance that they come out of the Eastern Conference, but if I was a betting man, I'm not, by the way, but if I were, I would take the Celtics to get out of the Eastern Conference. Now, in the Western Conference, man, there's so many teams that could come out of the West. Bill noted that, hey, there's a path for the Warriors. The Nuggets, they fired their coach and their general manager. They still have Nikola Jokic. The Lakers have Luka and LeBron. Anthony Edwards has taken a step forward this year. There's so many teams that could do it. I'm going to go chalk, though, in the Western Conference. I do believe in Oklahoma City. They have the presumptive MVP in SGA. They're super deep. They're very talented. That defense is incredible. So those two teams meet in the finals, and I'm going to stay with what I've been saying all season long. I said it before the year started. I've been saying it during the season. I'm going to take the best team in the NBA, the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're going to get their first championship this season. They're going to prevent the Celtics from having a back-to-back championship and hanging banner 19. Yeah, give me the Thunder.
I mean, if you've been riding this team for the last 2 years, at some point they're going to have to pay you off, and maybe that happens with a title at the end of this when it's all said and done. Fellas, this is a lot of fun. I'm taking note. I just want you guys to know when June rolls around, us three, we're going to have this conversation, okay? Appreciate that, and taking a look at the odds to win it all. This 68-win OKC team with the shortest odds. They're at plus 180. They're followed by the reigning champs on the other side on the East at plus 190. The top team in the East, Cleveland, have the third shortest odds at plus 490. And the Lakers rounding out the top four shortest odds to end their season as NBA champs at plus 1,700. Regular season in the rear view for those teams on the outside looking in. The Cooper Flag sweepstakes, the NBA draft lottery. It's in full swing. Here's a look at the odds for the #1 pick. The Jazz currently with a 14% odds along with the Wizards and Hornets. They're followed by the Pelicans at 12.5%. Sixers sitting at 10.5. I know somebody that could be eyeing them. The Nets at 9, Raptors at 7.5%. Back here with John and Bill in the chase for Duke's freshman phenom Cooper Flag will almost be decided during the 2025 NBA draft lottery. That's scheduled for May 12th out in Chicago. But Bill, we just saw a list of the teams and their percentage, but I want you to give me the team that needs Flag the most. Which of these lottery teams?
This is tough because every team needs this guy. Every team that's on that board needs this guy. But I normally sort of assess this with my head or my reporting. I'm gonna speak from my heart here because I've been working with John Gonzalez for a year and a half, and it has been nothing but sadness and doom and gloom. And please don't believe in the Sixers. And Bill, why are you talking about how good Embiid is? And oh, look, Bill, I was right. My team is cursed, which he was, and they are. So what I need from my friend John Gonzalez on screen right there, trying to hold the emotion and be a pro, is for the Sixers. You know what? The Sixers can't do it themselves. They're not good enough. Nobody's with Philly's good enough, but maybe the basketball gods can just give them a little bit of luck. The ping pong balls can bounce the right way. They can get this guy, and they can turn things around. Philly could, and my God, John Gonzalez could use Cooper Flag.
I knew. Bill and I do too much basketball together. I knew he was going to take the Sixers. I knew this was going to happen. What Bill forgot, though, is that pick is top 1 to 6 protected, so the Sixers have to have that pick actually land for them. It's not gonna. They're gonna end up with the 7th pick. It's gonna get shipped to Oklahoma City, and Sam Presti's gonna identify a generational talent who's not Cooper Flag. All right. So on my end, then, who do I think could use Cooper Flag? Yes, Bill's right. Everybody on that list, but I'm gonna go with the Pelicans, who have had really bad luck, even by NBA standards. When you're talking about the Wizards and the Suns and the Sixers having bad years and the Mavs having self-inflicted pain, the Pelicans have had really bad luck. Brandon Ingram had a sprained ankle. DeJounte Murray only played 31 games, then had an Achilles injury. Zion failed to play in 30 games for the 4th time in 6 seasons. David Griffin is probably beside himself because he has identified good players in the past. He drafted Trey Murphy. He drafted Yves Missy. He drafted and acquired Dyson Daniels, although Dyson Daniels now plays in Atlanta, and probably nobody in the Pelicans organization expected him to be an all-defensive candidate and potentially a defensive player of the year. But he got good value back for AD and Drew Holiday, and we can go on and on. They have been overwhelmed by injuries. Only the Wiz, the Jazz, and the Hornets were worse than them this year. I want good things for the Pelicans because they haven't had good things in quite some time. Cooper Flag would fit perfectly.
They haven't had nice things, but hopefully